Hidden within the ancient wilderness journey of Israel lies a celestial code, one that has been obscured by centuries of tradition, forgotten calendars, and, the relentless march of human systems. What if the stories of the Exodus, the manna from heaven, and the thunder of Sinai were more than just historical events? What if they actually held the blueprint for a divine calendar, a sacred rhythm of time set by the Creator himself? In a world dominated by Roman timekeeping and modern convenience, the original time system ordained by Yahuah has been pushed aside, dismissed as irrelevant or, honestly, just misunderstood. Yet Scripture whispers of a different pattern, one marked not by man-made weeks but by the moon's appointed times. It is a calendar that aligns heaven with earth, revealing prophetic truths and divine appointments with astounding precision. This investigation invites you to journey back through the first 3 months following the Exodus, through miracles, revelations, and holy interruptions, to rediscover a timekeeping system that reveals not only when to worship, but also how to walk in harmony with the eternal. What you'll find may challenge everything you thought you knew about the Sabbath, sacred festivals, and the very structure of biblical time. Prepare to see the Scriptures in a new light where time itself becomes a testimony of Yahuah's love, order, and prophetic design. The calendar details presented by the 3 months in a row of the Exodus, the manna, and the mountain reveal divine lessons of the most vital and solemn importance. As often as these colorful stories are told and retold, some points with regard to their application of time are often overlooked. In the first month of Abib, just before the Exodus, our loving Father Yahuah announced to Moses and Aaron which lunar phase was the true and original new moon, and reintroduced his unique astro-lunisolar calendar model with each 24-hour day and night cycle commencing at sunrise. Then, in the second month, he confirmed his calendar's layout and true seventh-day Sabbaths in a most unmistakable way when he provided manna from above. In the third month, Yahuah, Alahim, fully restored in the minds of all present, including the mixed multitude, his unique timekeeping system, with the date of Israel's arrival at the famous desert mountain of Sinai. And finally, 40 years later, as recorded by Joshua, the manna forever ceased on the first day of the week. It was the 16th of Abib, illustrating that the months had started with the new moon every month for 40 years. The Sabbaths followed accordingly, consistently occurring on the 8th, 15th, 22nd, and 29th of each consecutive lunar month. Moses' trusted record of the Exodus account reveals identical dates and calendar details for 3 months in a row. It further establishes that our Creator's true sacred seventh-day Sabbaths were each numbered from the new moon day, which also refreshes the weekly cycle every lunar month. This revelation of truth exposes the false assumption widely believed today that the modern week has cycled continuously since the first week of creation. Restoring the Creator's original calendar was strategic to setting up the earthly sanctuary and temple system. This sanctuary was first erected during the 40-year wilderness sojourn to prepare the ragtag children of Yasharal, or Israel, for the Promised Land. They had long been captives of pagan dogma and were no longer equipped with the full knowledge of his sacred times and laws. The sanctuary was designed as a time and event educational presentation to forever keep before their eyes. It's scrupulously identified with the lunar appointed feast days layout, the promised Messiah's detailed and time-centric remedy for sin, and the plan of salvation. For this cause, Yasharal, the children of Israel, was blessed and destined to be the people of the promise. All of this was essential for re-establishing Yahuah Alahim's foundational lunar appointed time principles as identified in Psalms 104 verse 19. He appointed the moon for seasons, Moedim, lunar appointed time. Profoundly, these time principles identify to the very day the lunar appointed time of the first and second coming of the long-promised Messiah, the Lamb, our Melchizedek righteous King. This was established so there may be no excuse for the set-apart seekers of truth to discern the connection of the lunar appointed time with the detailed feast day events. Of a truth born of Scripture, the time-centric government of the eternal kingdom was ordained to continue from eternity past into eternity future, unbroken by Earth's illegitimate calendars and the witty inventions of fallen demons and men. 1 month after the Exodus, our compassionate eternal Father responded to the cries of hunger from the weary travelers, and sent quail the first evening after the Sabbath had passed, and manna at sunrise for the next 6 days, with none on the seventh-day Sabbath. Not surprisingly, Saturday Sabbatarians, Jews, Seventh-day Adventists, and WWCG have used the Manna Story to illustrate that Yahuah Alahim has ordained Saturday as his seventh-day Sabbath. This is because, for the past 1,700 years, the continuous week cycle of the Roman calendar has placed Saturday as its seventh day, yet there is no evidence for this in Scripture. However, additional light shed on the Manna Story really identifies Rome's proactive departure from the Creator's lunar rhythm and the replacement of the original and authentic seventh-day Sabbath as early as 45 BC. Through the illustrations of our Creator's original calendar presented in this investigation, we see an identical lunar month format not only for 3 months in a row, but in fact, for 40 years. This scripture narrative confirms that the correct seventh-day Sabbath placement differs widely from the seventh day found on the modern Roman or beast power wall calendar with its continuous weekly cycle. The lessons of the manna sent from above teach that our Creator ordained and sanctified a lunar seventh-day Sabbath, which is found to be neither Saturday nor Sunday. The Incremental Reformation that began in the 16th century AD with Martin Luther, Huss, and Jerome, just to name a few, will continue under the leadership of Yahweh's Ruach HaKadosh, his sacred power, presence, and provision. His prophetic, lunar-appointed time-centric truths will be restored before our Messiah's return. Those who are alive and remain will have already entered into their wilderness sojourn to be, schooled in the lunar-appointed times and laws of the Most High. Only in this way will they be prepared for entering the pearly gates of his eternal kingdom, the long-last promised land. No one who continues to cling as willing captives to the erroneous pagan times and laws of Egypt, Babylon, or Rome, the beast, will enter there. Only those who have proactively released their grip from the binding claims of Jewish traditions and commandments of men, as mentioned in Titus chapter 1 verse 14, will be freed and receive their marvelous eternal reward. Shocking as this may appear, those who genuinely desire to know the truth must investigate it for themselves. If knowing the truth is vital, if consistently worshiping our Creator according to the rhythm of his authentic and sacred seventh-day Sabbath is imperative to you, then please take the time to read this investigation carefully so that you may rightly divide Scripture's word of truth. Conclusion. Time to return to the ancient paths. The story of Israel's journey through the wilderness was never meant to be just history. It was designed to be a mirror, a guide, and a call to return. Hidden in the cycles of the moon and the rhythm of divine appointments is a calendar not made by man but by the hand of Yahuah himself. For 40 years he taught a stubborn, wandering people how to walk in step with his time. And today, he is calling his people once again to do the same. We are not merely observers of prophetic history, we are participants in its final chapter. As the world clings to artificial cycles and counterfeit Sabbaths, the faithful are being called out to walk by the light of the appointed moon, to align their lives with the Creator's sacred design. Will you continue marching to the beat of Rome's drum, or will you step into the cadence of heaven? The choice is yours. Now is the time to search, to question, and to return to the ancient paths where truth still waits, etched in the heavens, written in the Word, and pulsing through every lunar phase. The eternal reward is not for the indifferent or the half-hearted, but for those who dare to let go of tradition and follow the Lamb wherever he leads, by his light, by his law, and by his time.